symposium. My name is Mona Larsen. Today I'm representing the Bergen National Academy of Art and Design, and I'm the newly Dean of the Department of Design. Data is political is the title of today's symposium, and it's about relationship between art, design, and the politics of information. This is a unique happening in Norway where artists, designers, scientists, and academics have developed critical practices related to information and politics that they produce. This symposium is a collaboration among many fields with the Jan van Eyck Academy, University of Bergen, and Bergen National Academy of Art and Design. I have the honor of introducing Amber Fried Jimenez and Ben Dalton. Amber Fried Jimenez is an artist who used new media technologies to confront contemporary cultural issues. She is an associate professor in design here at KIT and a design researcher at the Jan van Eyck Academy. Ben Dalton is a computational designer and new technology researcher with a background in physics based in the Faculty of Arts, Environment and Technology of Leeds Metropolitan University, UK, and guest professor here at KIT. Ben and Amber have been working on a project together since they were colleagues at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I would like to give the opportunity to Amber Fried Jimenez and Ben Dalton to give an overview today of today's program. Thank you.
Hi, welcome. It's brilliant to see you all here. A lot of you came from other parts of Norway or also other parts of the world, so I'm just thrilled to see everyone here. In a simple sense, data is political because the tools of data, communication and data processing, trace their heritage to explicitly political projects. We would like to start the day with a story about data technologies and the role uncertainty plays in how these technologies shape the way we live and the narratives we tell ourselves. 15 years ago, on March 12, 1997, film actress Hedy Lamarr, alongside her co-inventor George Antheil, was honored with the Electronic Frontier Foundation's Pioneer Award for inventing an early technique of spread spectrum communication and frequency hopping. Their idea was originally patented in 1942 and intended to make radio-guided technologies harder for enemies to detect. As it turns out, their technique underpins today's wireless communication. As the story goes, Hedy Lamarr married a rich weapons manufacturer in Vienna in 1933 while completing the film Ecstasy, in which she plays the young, restless life of a much older man. Her performance in the film was regarded at the time as dangerously indecent, occupying her husband, who tried to buy all copies of the film and kept a close watch over her by forcing her to either stay home or accompany him on his business meetings. We are led to believe that Lamarr, already good at math, learned about military technology through those business meetings. Fast forward 5 years. Fleeing from her husband in Germany to Paris and then moving to California, Lamarr started working with her Hollywood neighbor, avant-garde composer George Antheil. In 1942, she and Antheil, with the guidance of Caltech engineering professor, successfully filed a patent on one of the early techniques of spread spectrum. It is ambiguous why the invention was largely ignored in the ensuing years, while other similar inventions were taking its place. During the same period, Lamarr's acting career was taking off. She became one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Over the years, her career became marred by the multiple scandals of divorces and rumors of theft. She even became the subject of Andy Warhol's 1966 experimental short film, Hedy, as the shoplifter which portrayed the actress as an unfortunate woman convicted of crimes by her ex-husband and sentenced to drinking poison. The story of George Anthel's contribution to the joint invention was similarly shrouded in uncertainty. Anthel met Lamar in the years that followed his composing a musical score for the Dada film Ballet Mécanique. Directed by Fernand Léger and Dudley Murphy, Ballet Mécanique is considered a pioneering experimental film today, but almost ruined Anthel's career as a musician. Anthel's musical score required driving multiple player pianos at once and keeping them in time with each other. Tragically, his innovative score proved disastrous on stage, with multiple player pianos sliding out of sync and producing an ill-timed cacophonous racket that was out of line with the moving images it was supposed to accompany. Nevertheless, this technique had other advantages. Lamar's meeting with Anthel led to a discovery that the player piano technology could be reappropriated for more scientific uses. We can imagine a moment where Anthel explains how he solved the problem of piano synchronization, and Lamar makes a connection to a mathematical puzzle she first encountered when considering remote control weapons back in Austria. She realized that torpedoes and controllers could hop their signals to avoid jamming, like two mechanical pianos playing the same tune together. Before the EFF granted her an award in 1997, the history of Lamar's invention was little known. The story has been retold many times since then, as parts emerge from classified documents and forgotten archives. We want Lamar to be the brilliantly inventive outsider who underpins all modern data communication, but that story isn't quite true. The single inventive narrative cannot withstand closer scrutiny. A re-examination reveals a record of tiny, incremental discoveries by many individuals. We can take Serbian-American engineer Nikola Tesla as one instance. It appears that Tesla was the first to encounter a theory of frequency hopping, and later realized that he needed something that would protect them from interception. Tesla filed 2 patents on the technique in 1903, 10 years before Lamar's birth. But these patents and numerous ones that followed were not the only reason why Lamar and Anthel's invention was virtually hidden from view until the 1990s. In George's mind, the military dismissed the significance of the invention at the time because the patents mentioned the player piano, making the innovation seem irrelevant. Another view might be that 1940s Hollywood was comfortable with maintaining Hedy Lamar's image as the most beautiful woman in film, so the inventiveness of her design was not easily recognized at the time. So why tell a story of the convoluted history of the underlying technologies of modern data communication? A seemingly simple story of a patent and a highly documented public figure is actually far from clear. Government secrets, intellectual property, propaganda, retelling, and bias make this history opaque. Today, we want to explore the space around data, the tangents and conflicting histories. The narrative is worth revisiting because the parallels between Lamar's story and the collective fictions we engage in about open data. Radical transparency suggests that open data is a powerful force for participatory democracy. The promise of transparency as an absolute mechanism for equality seduces us. We want to believe in data as a liberator. But is more data better? Corporations and governments are comfortable with the conceit that if they could just collect enough data, they could reach new markets and calibrate their services to the needs of people. The reality is much more complex than either of these positions. Data is released by a person in a context with a motive. So with that, I would like to turn it over to Ben Dalton, who will sort of present the structure of the day and talk a little bit about the speakers that we presented.
wanted to briefly introduce the structure for the day so you know where we're going. And I also wanted to try and draw out a little about the various sorts of data we might encounter, and then leave it for the speakers in our individual sessions to explore those in more detail. So in session one, we have Philip Rekiewicz and responding Steve Dixon. Philip's work is related to radical cartography, and for us, we see data there around the position of things, that geographical information, and also geopolitical data sets and information about nations and the world. Steve Dixon will respond with perspectives that we see elements there in terms of how information is communicated. In session two, after lunch, Gediminas Abonis and Nomeda Abonis are going to present some of their work in response to each other. They are artists, and for us, we see elements in their work of archives that do not easily fit into databases, stories that are not easily quantified, and a recognition that there are data sets about disobedience as well as obedience. We are often comfortable with archives that fit into institutions, and so their work, I think, touches on other sorts of archives that exist. After the break, we have the third and final session of the day. There we will have a talk from Peter Sund and Daniel van der Velde, followed by a panel discussion with Max van Cleek and Jill Walker-Reckberg. Peter Sund's work, I think, touches on elements of archives of popular culture, access to information, and the idea of control of data sets. Daniel's work as a designer also encounters those issues and draws in the idea of who should control large data sets, the politics of the cloud, commercial advertising data, government logging, and Max and Jill will also bring perspectives there about storytelling and personal data. And finally, we would like to invite you at 6 to join us at the reception at Room 8 in conjunction with On Balancing, the exhibition there by Ellen Rhodes and Christian Blom. I would like to thank you for coming. I think it's going to be a really exciting and interesting day. I am looking forward to the discussions that we can have from all of the ideas coming out of these sessions. And we'll take a few minutes to set up the first session and then move into the first talk by Philippe. So thank you very much.